Broken Entertainment. So today there's some Star Trek news that I thought would be interesting to talk about, especially in regards to an actor who was recently on the show, Star Trek Discovery, talking about their experience. This comes from Bounty into Comics. Here we have Dark Matter actor Andrew Moodie claims that Star Trek Discovery production team is terrifying the cast and crew. Dark Matter and Orphan Black actor Andrew Moody recently made this claim. The actor appeared on the Dark Matter Monday show hosted every week on the Orville Nation YouTube channel. Moody, who played Teku Fonse on Dark Matter as well as Jacob in Star Trek Discovery, claimed, as opposed to being on the set of Star Trek, which I was on the set of Star Trek, worst experience. Sorry, I'll be very careful about what I say. So, just some personal stuff going in here. I have not watched either of the shows he's on, and I gave up on Star Trek Discovery halfway through season 1, so I'm not familiar with his work or his connections to the entertainment industry. But let's see what he has to say. The thing I will say about working on Star Trek is I got to work with Jonathan Frakes. He's a gentleman, he's brilliant, he's a great director, beautiful human being, so supportive of the cast on that set. Great people, wonderful people. But I could tell, what I will say is the crew and the cast were traumatized by a production team and a writer's room that was in constant flux and power dynamics where you could just tell that they all felt threatened. You could tell that they felt threatened, he added. He then claimed he was threatened, and the producers of Star Trek threatened me, and I was just like, I don't care. They came after me, yeah, the showrunner was fired, and there was a new showrunner, and I was brought in to do some stream of consciousness wording there, I think. ADR, and they wanted me to redo my entire performance because the new showrunner didn't like my acting, and ultimately didn't like my acting. Moody said, and I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. Art is subjective. Fundamentally, it's subjective. There's nothing you can do. You may like the Rolling Stones. You may hate the Rolling Stones. It's fine. They're the Rolling Stones. What are you going to do? So, this is not the first actor that I've seen do this, but they get in these interviews and they just kind of talk, and part of it's seeing an interview transcribed into written form, I think, and part of it's just a very strange way of talking. Like they just don't form a sentence that flows naturally when they speak, and it's very strange. And I don't know anything about this guy. I'm sure he's a good actor. I'm sure he's normally doesn't come across this way. When you transcribe interviews, especially if you only transcribe one side of it, things get a little weird. He's probably being talked to or interrupted in the middle of these sentences. You could just tell that something happened, so the new people at the head of Star Trek, whoever is running it now, are terrified of whoever is running it now. Whoever is running Star Trek now is running it with an iron fist, and they didn't like anything that I did, so they completely replaced my voice. I don't know who is voicing my character. That is strange. This is a live-action show. I mean, obviously it's happened before. Darth Vader was famously voice swapped. But, strange stuff coming out of Star Trek Discovery. Moody concluded, and again, I want to make this clear, the director was great, the cast were great, the crew on the show are good people, but you can tell the production team above them, they're terrorizing those people, and they're just terrified. Moody went on to state, and ultimately they tried to scare me. They're like, to be quality of Star Trek, you had to be this performance. He also reiterated his opinion about Jonathan Frakes. Frakes was always cool with me, and he was always supportive, and he was always like, Andrew, you're doing a great job, thank you so much. So, I don't know who, there's somebody in production somewhere in Los Angeles who is trying to terrorize people by trying to belittle them. They try to belittle me to say, oh, you're not good enough, and I'm like, dude. So, odd. I think that's where I'd put that, is odd. I'm not surprised to hear out of Star Trek Discovery that the writer's room and production team are in constant flux. We've heard a lot of information coming out of Star Trek Discovery suggesting that very thing. And usually these actors don't come out and just kind of piss all over the people they just went to work for, because you might want to work for them again. But obviously not the case here. You know, the only thing I can say is he must have really, really hated what went down and the way they approached him. You know, as to whether they treat the whole staff and crew that way, I don't know. But generally, if you treat one person that way, you're going to probably treat all of them that way. And, you know, we've heard some weird stuff out of Star Trek Discovery, and the writing is trash on that show. I'm sorry, but it's not Star Trek. It's nothing like Star Trek. The Klingons aren't Klingons. The humans, the Federation, just doesn't act or behave at all like the Federation. It's dark, it's gloomy, it tries to be gritty and fails horribly with overacting and bad writing. And most of the people in the writer's room aren't even sci-fi writers. It would be like if you had me write a soap opera. You know, I write science fantasy and epic fantasy. Why are you getting me to write a soap opera? Well, these people all wrote soap opera type shows, CW type stuff, and now all of a sudden they're writing for Star Trek. And they've chased out all the real qualified people, and it's all very it's very agenda driven, very nonsensical, unfortunately. But let me know what you think about this guy coming out totally unbidden and being like, yeah, production team is awful. And, you know, I think it fits par for the course for the kind of people that we've seen working there. And I think it fits the narrative pretty well when you see how they've treated fans and how they've treated Star Trek. The fact that you'd have a writer's room full of people that are probably already nervous because they're out of their league. They're writing for a genre they don't write. And all of a sudden they got to deal with science fiction principles, the concept of the Federation of Planets and so on. And they're driven to write these weird CW type storylines. Just, you know, it is what it is, unfortunately. You know, Star Trek was a wonderful show while it existed, but as far as I'm concerned, nothing coming out now is really Star Trek. Certainly not Star Trek Discovery. It not only violates all the principles of Gene Roddenberry and Star Trek, it's just bad. It's just objectively poorly written. So let me know what you think of this actor in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of what's going on in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And I will see you next time.